Hello guys, and welcome to another video about the new civilization Khitans. At least that's how Google tells me to pronounce it. A fair warning though, this is actually my second impression kind of this civilization, because I did record a full video about this civ only to realize that the video was wrecked. So yeah, I now will be able to give you a little bit more of an insightful opinion on the civilization, but you won't get the pure first impressions that are so magical. So the Khitans are a infantry and cavalry civilization. Cool mixture there. I love to see some infantry, I love to see some cavalry as well, and you're gonna see soon why they are labeled that way. But first off, we see pastures replaces farms. To show you a little bit more what pastures are, now that I have tried them, pastures are 4x4 tiles buildings that cost 100 wood, and they, as mentioned, replace the farms. This means that the civilization does not have regular farms, and you cannot do horse collar, heavy plow, or crop rotation. However, you will have new upgrades that are called domestication, pastoralism, and transhumance. What exactly it does is, it is a farm where two villagers can work at the same time. It kind of works like a Khmer farm, where you can drop off the resources into the pasture itself. So you don't need to place it around a town center, you can place it anywhere on the map, and considering that two vills can work on it, it's pretty damn strong. If you look at the tech tree as well, it will say that new pastures provide +1 animal if you research one of the technologies like domestication. And after pastoralism, it will be +2 and then +3 at the Imperial Age one. Essentially what this does mean is that you just get more food on the pasture. It's not suddenly, oh, suddenly I have animals I can send around on the map and eat them on the TC or give to a Gurjara ally, for example. While it says provide extra animals, it's simply just additional food on the pasture. It's not more complicated than that. On top of that, we also have shepherds and herders generating +10% extra additional food. The way this works is that essentially, while you're eating a sheep, you will get one food ticking up now and then. It has nothing to do with when you're dropping it off or anything. It's just while eating the sheep, the food will tick up slowly because you will generate additional 10% food. This 10% extra bonus also applies to all your villagers that are working on the pastures, eating the animals there, because they are herders on that location. And they carry 7 food until they drop it off to the center of the building. I'm not sure how the math works here, how efficient that is contra a farm. But the fact that you don't have a drop-off point to go to a town center, for example, and you just drop it off exactly where you're standing pretty much, sounds like it should be very efficient. So this economy boost with the pasture feels like a boost, at least initially, could be incredibly strong. We also have another bonus for the civilization where melee attack upgrade effects are doubled. However, they do lack the Imperial Age upgrade, so in the end, you're just gonna reach the same attack as you would originally with any other civ, but you reach it in Castle Age with Forging and Iron Casting. Considering this is an infantry and cavalry civilization, this could still be very useful, especially with certain types of units that we can see very soon. Skirmishers, spearmen, and scout cavalry line also train and upgrade 25% faster. On paper that doesn't sound incredibly strong, but if you think about it, just one range, you can have 5 units when the other guy has 4. That is pretty damn strong. Scouts as well, it's helpful, but scouts, if we look at the stable, they don't have access to bloodlines. Now, the reason for this is very logical if we look at another unit later, but yeah, that means that the scout cavalry line of the Khitans are not that strong because of the lack of bloodlines. But I mean, they're still going to be producing faster, which can be very helpful in late game, or if you're trying to play light cavalry build in Castle Age, for example. So it's never a bad bonus to have. And the last listed civ bonus is heavy cavalry archer upgrade available in the Castle Age, and costing 50% less. Cavalry archer meta is a real thing at the moment in Age of Empires, so this has me a little bit worried. They also have all the upgrades you could possibly want with cav archers, both in the blacksmith and in the archery range. This could be scary considering we have quite a cav archer meta going on right now. Yeah, I'll withhold my judgment on this for now, but this in combination with the rest of the civilization could be scary. In terms of their unique units, they have the Liao Dao, which is the infantry unit from the Castle Age. And if we look at the tech tree, you can see as well they have a different skin from the Castle Age and Imperial Age, which all the unique units should have at this point. And it is a unique infantry with a powerful attack that wounds enemies, dealing damage over time. So if you're familiar with other games like action RPG games, for example, where there's like a bleed mechanic, you'll hit something and it will still take continuous damage for a while. That is essentially how it works. However, it does happen pretty fast. I think if you hit something, it deals 7 bleed damage, in the Imperial Age at least, with the full upgrades. And it goes down really fast. So in my opinion, this just seems like another very solid attack bonus. Because it's just you hit it and then like ticks down 7 HP very quickly afterwards. In my opinion, you can just add that attack pretty much to the unit. So look at this as like a 13 attack plus 4, so 17. And then +7 on top of that. It is quite costly on the gold front for an infantry unit, but 40 food, 40 gold for such a powerful unit, well, in my opinion, it seems very powerful from first impressions. I think that is very reasonable, and this unit, in my opinion, is very scary. It says it's strong against cavalry and infantry, but it's weak against ranged soldiers at long range. As we see, they only have 1 pierce armor with both the castlage and the elite upgrade, so yeah, definitely going to be vulnerable against the ranged units. Elite upgrade is also only 800 food, 650 gold, so not that hard to get to. The other unique unit they have is the mounted trebuchet. This is a Khitan unique siege cavalry with long range, but it cannot attack at close range, similar to other siege units of this type. Projectiles leave lingering fire on the ground. The way this works is that when you hit the ground with your projectiles, they're going to be like a lingering fire, well, as it describes, for a couple of seconds afterwards. And if an enemy unit walks into it, it will kind of work similar-ish to the bleed, where like just some HP will trickle down. There's only 1 HP at a time, so it's not that scary, but I personally can see myself doing quite a few masterpieces with this, so I'm excited to play with it. It says it's strong against siege weapons and a tight group of units. This probably shouldn't be viewed as a anti-building trebuchet type of unit, as when I tested it in my original first impression, it didn't do too much damage against buildings, but it can be very useful against units and siege units as well. It is quite costly though, 175 food and 175 gold. Normally these types of units have a wood cost with the gold, but this time it's a food because I guess you gotta feed those camels that are pulling it. So it makes sense. Now if you look at the unique text in the castlage, you have lamellar armor, which is that infantry and skirmishers reflect 25% melee damage back to the attacker. My impression of this is that when you get hit by another unit, essentially they take 1 damage upon hitting you, because I think all the armor and attacks and everything comes into play. So I only tried it against a few units, and every time the unit only took 1 extra damage on top of it. Maybe there are some like decimals in there where like suddenly they take 2 damage after like the 3rd hit or something. But I mean, like it's a nice little bonus for 450 food, 300 gold. Also, I don't think this is going to be massively impactful, but I could be wrong there. The Imperial Age one is called Ordo Cavalry, which is 600 food and 300 gold, and it says cavalry regenerates HP in combat. Not out of combat, in combat. This upgrade is ridiculous, and I'll show you guys in action how it looks like soon. At last, we see their team bonus, which is infantry +2 attack against ranged soldiers. This, in my opinion, opens the door not only in 1v1, but in team games as well. You can probably justify with flanks to maybe go more infantry in like a 4v4 Arabia even. And imagine now Huskals having Khitans as their ally. Ranged units stand no chance no more, I tell you that much. And it also says ranged soldiers, so it pretty much should cover the whole board when it comes to ranged units. If infantry are back, this team bonus makes them backer. That makes sense. Looking at the archery range, you have crossbow, elite skirms, and the heavy cavalry in the castlage, but crossbows cannot become arbalister and you don't have hand cannoners, so probably you're going to be playing heavy cavalries or elite skirms if you're playing this towards the ranged tools. In the barracks, we will see they have fully upgraded champions, but they only have pikemen, but there's a good reason for that. That is because they have the new Fire Lancer. The Fire Lancer is a shock infantry that fires a short-range firearm before engaging in melee combat. It is strong against cavalry and buildings, but weak against militia line and archery units. We'll try again how this works exactly, but essentially as you are approaching enemy units, you will have a quick fire before you reach out to engage in melee mode. And you will have like a bar on top, you know, like you have the charge attack with the Coustelier, for example. You will have a bar on top that shows when the ranged attack is available again. The interesting thing for me with this unit though is, stat-wise it's okay, it's not something crazy. Gold cost is very high for an infantry unit, 50 gold. But it's combined with a wood cost of 40, which usually means this unit is spammable. On low economy, like you can have 1 TC, just 5 pasturers, herders, 5 herders taking food, and you can maintain TC production, and then everything else goes to wood and gold, and suddenly you can have like 4 or 5 barracks Fire Lancer spam. That is my concern about this unit, and I think that can be really, really, really strong, especially given that it's also relatively good against buildings. So I can see some masterpieces coming with this, but we're gonna have to wait and see. Elite Fire Lancers upgrade is 650 food and 400 gold, and they give a little bit of a bump in their stats here. You get 20 more HP, 2 more attack, and 1 extra armor for both ranged, pierce and melee. In the stable, as we mentioned earlier, no bloodlines, but they do have elite step lancers, heavy camels, hussar, and also husbandry. Notably, they also lack access to knights. In the siege workshop, they do have fully upgraded siege ram, but they don't have access to mangonels. They also don't have heavy scorpions or bombard cannons, but they do have the mentioned mountain trebuchet, and the new rocket cart. The rocket cart is kind of their equivalent of the Mangano. My impression though is that it's cooler. It fires rockets in a similar way. They have the same range as a Mangano. Cost is a little bit different, a bit more gold, a little bit less wood. But I tried this a little bit. I'm going to try it again for you here soon. But this feels like a really good unit, and especially good against like feud age units or range units with low HP, low armor. As you can see, it only has 5 attack, but it fires multiple rockets, and I think they all do full damage. So this unit is actually a very dangerous one. If you go to the Imperial version of the heavy rocket carts, they get 20 more HP up to 65. And just extra range and extra pierce armor, but the attack stays the same. I do, however, think they fire more rockets after the upgrade, and the upgrade is 800 wood and 750 gold. So again, different to the Onager where you need food to upgrade it. This one just costs wood. A lot of this seems scary to me. Like, can you imagine fire lancers with rocket carts? That is my dream composition right now, and I think they can be redonkulous. In the blacksmith, they have everything except the mentioned blast furnace, which makes sense given that their civ bonus is that they get double effect from these 2 upgrades. The dock is nothing to be impressed about. They only really have fast fire ships as a viable Imperial Age option. Up until then, they're fine, but yeah, no shipwright, no dry dock, only cannon galleon and fast fire ships. You're not going to play this civ to play water maps, that's for sure. University as well, you can see they lack architecture. They don't have access to bomber towers nor keeps, which also means they don't have arrow slits or treadmill crane. But they do have siege engineers, chemistry, these types of important upgrades. So I guess everyone has chemistry, but siege engineers everyone does not have. And this can be very useful for the rocket carts in particular. Also the mounted trebuchet. They also do have conscription, hoardings, and sappers. And if you look at the monastery, they do have their own little monk skin there. And they're lacking redemption, herbal medicine, and block printing. Not having access to redemption usually means you can struggle against snowball civilizations with, for example, organ guns from Portuguese or Hussite wagons from the Bohemians. So I could see this being a problem for this civilization as well. However, we do have certain units here that I feel like can deal well with those, such as the Fire Lancer, such as the Rocket Cart, such as the Mountain Trebuchet if you get to Imperial Age. But yeah, lacking redemption can still be a very big problem in certain matchups and certain timings in the game. So this could be rough, but otherwise they have things they need. Economy-wise as well, they're only really missing gold shaft mining, and of course they're missing all the mill upgrades that would originally be horse collar, heavy plow, and crop rotation. But yeah, should be pretty solid. Before I jump in and play a little bit here, I just want to give my first initial take, and that is that economically this civ should be very good, despite the pastures being their only, in quotes, real economic bonus. If you look at the Khmer, for example, just the fact that the farms have no drop-off point makes them so good, and the pastures will deliver a similar concept. So the fact you don't have any gold, wood, or stone bonus doesn't really matter in that case, because the economy will be pushed by the pastures. I'm going to show you the cavalry, how much they regenerate, but trust me, it's quite crazy. Fire Lancer seems like a really fun unit to me. Heavy Couch in Castle Age. I just realized Heavy Couchers will also regenerate, won't they? In Imperial Age with that tech. Oh boy, I need to check this. Alright, we're going to start in the Castle Age here. Right off the bat, I'm just going to drop a pasture to show you guys how it works. But I'm going to also prepare at the same time some buildings. So you can see here, we were spawning with a new chicken. This is the replacement now for deer in some scenarios, where you will have chicken instead of deer. As you can see here, we built a pasture and it has like 400 something food. By the way, I'm playing in turbo mode if you're confused as to why things are going fast. You see, only 2 villages are able to work on this. I cannot take these and click them on the deer or the animals here. They just stand there idle because there already are 2 villas working. And we can see the villas are collecting food 7. Wait, this time we collected 9. I guess because I have handcart or a wheelbarrow. That makes sense. And this is what you have to do with the chickens. The chicken cannot be like pushed to your town center, to my knowledge. Although maybe I'm wrong, because I see them running away. Thought that was the whole purpose of these chicken. At least they only have 65 food, so maybe you can still push them, but it's like... Oh, they go back quite quickly. Yeah, you probably want to mill this, because it's very low food, only 65, but there are extra of them, so... Yeah, it's gonna encourage people to make mills further out on the map and go for that hunt, and I think that's a cool thing as well. Let's prepare a seed bookshop, and we'll also do a castle. Look at the castle skin though, looks beautiful. Just gonna make some fire lances here, show you guys how they work like. I'm not gonna do elite rocket carts either. Alright, I'm gonna show you a little bit of how the composition I'm envisioning can be very hard to deal with in Castle Age. That is rocket carts in combination. Oh, I just saw a regrouping there when they went back to regroup. I thought pathing was fixed. What is this? Let's first see how the fire lances perform against an archery range. Keep in mind, I do have arson here as well. And they are supposed to be good against buildings, and that shows they're definitely pretty strong. But let's see now the ranged attack that we have. See how they will all shoot one volley before they start engaging in melee mode. We're fighting elite Void Raiders, by the way. They look super sick with the new skin. And let's showcase the rocket fire. You see how they shoot the rockets? Bam, bam, bam. Very similar to Mangonels though, and you can also target fire with them. So, and they also feel pretty accurate, but at the same time the splash damage is quite wide compared to where the projectiles hit. So, in my opinion, this is just kind of the same as a Mangonel, but I feel like it might be a little bit more consistent in some ways. But yeah, we have yet to see that. You can also see now the cooldown of the shot has run out, and they will then take a shot again, and then they continue in melee mode. Keep in mind, these rocket guys are also supposed to be good against infantry. Siege units, sorry. See if I can make one hit on something. See the splash damage, even though he was still like half a tile, one tile away, it still did some splash damage there, so... Rocket carts seem very good, and that was also only the Castle Age version. Let's do Elite Fire Lancers. See what happens with that. Also the last upgrade. I'm gonna prepare Elite Step Lancers and Hussar as well to show you guys the cavalry. I also need to do archery ranges for the heavy cow archers to confirm my theory that they will also heal. If they heal like that, the same rate as other units do, that in my first fake impressions video, that's scary. Man, the Fire Lancers look sick. We also have the tech now where attacking our infantry or skirmishers will reflect some damage back onto the enemy. We see here as well the heavy cavalry archer upgrade is only 450 food, 250 gold, so that is something that is definitely possible to do in Castle Age. We're about to move in for another attack here. What I would say what I'm a bit worried about, first you see 0 point plus 5, so your initial burst damage will have 5 range. The shot you pull off initially. Ooh, damn, this unit is really good against siege. Holy smokes. Wait, he has the Fire Lancer as well as Celts? Did he convert one? That doesn't make sense. Maybe I got converted and I didn't notice. Yeah, we see Fire Lancers do okay against the Void Raiders, but well, yeah, once you're fighting just straight up without the melee attack and such, they're not as impressive anymore. What is really dangerous with the rocket cards though is the friendly fire they do. See, I was aiming for this ram and it did so much friendly damage fire to my unit. So, and there's another civ that actually has a bonus where you take less friendly fire. So I think that's the reason they put that in there. Okay, I also want to showcase the Liao Dao. This is the guys, go back. Let me showcase. This is the Castle Age unit. You see, I hit him. You see how his HP is going down after I hit him. He took 7 damage as bleed damage, and it went down pretty fast. I think I need to go in here and save my building. Yeah, that was also the Castle Age up unit. I don't know if the other unit will do more. Do we do bleed damage to a Scorpion as well? No, which makes sense. They cannot bleed. Man, AI has no chill. What is this? Okay, we're gonna have to try and fight this off. This might be a good way to show you that. Look at the HP here. I'm gonna engage. Now I am in combat. Look how fast I'm regenerating. Never mind, I'm dead. Let me see. Sorry, AI is actually overwhelming here. They were not supposed to do this. Oh, Scorpions are so broken. Okay, it looks to me like cavalry archers don't count into the cavalry regenerating HP. However, you see the Step Lancer here, how fast my HP will go up now. I'm gonna hit the ram and see my HP, how fast it goes up. Now, I don't have bloodlines, so I still die quite fast, don't get me wrong. But the point is, I can regenerate like this. That is solid, sizable regeneration. And it's when you engage. It's not when you get attacked. It's when you attack something. So it's not like you have to take damage in order for this to come into effect. It's enough for you to simply attack something. Which is what's the crazy thing to me. Because then you can raid and attack any military unit and just use that as a regen option as well. Now I am getting absolutely wrecked here and absolutely destroyed. So we're gonna do a little bit of cheeky rock on. Don't tell anyone. I'm gonna do Elite Liao Dao now and see how this feels. We get like 50 of those out on the field, 60. Damn, he has so much siege though. We can make some Fire Lancers in the meantime to stab. Okay. So if I hit this skirmisher and back off. I failed. I failed again. I just want to hit one skirmisher to see how much damage we do over time. I'm a disaster at this. Okay, everyone go back. I want to see if the bleed is higher on the elite version. This skirmisher, we hit him. We do what? It's 9 bleed damage with the elite. Also, it stacks, by the way. So if I hit with 2 units, it will bleed way fast. Like it will bleed way faster than that. So essentially, if you have like 3 or 4 units hitting 1 unit, the bleed damage itself is gonna pretty much kill that unit without you having to do more than that. Okay, we need to fight a World Raider. He has a bit more HP. I hit him only once, I think, but you see HP is still going down. I think a lot of people would think that includes heavy cavalry archers. Fortunately, it does not. Alright, let's check out now the Steppe Lancer, how they regenerate. And this is where I think this regeneration thing can be quite scary. For example, heavy camels now against Paladin, for example, it's gonna be a joke. They will absolutely totally dominate them. Okay, let's now engage and we'll watch this Lancer. I'm fighting, right? Look how I'm regenerating. This is a lot of HP regen. And if you're fighting, like let's say you have more units than one, like in this case Steppe Lancers, I'm healing 5, 6, 7 Steppe Lancers at the same time, while I'm only being attacked by 1 unit. So again, heavy camels for this civilization are going to absolutely shut down any type of cavalry unit. Hussar line probably also will be pretty solid, all things considered. I'm a bit worried about this one, honestly. They could be ridiculously strong. So yeah, the Khitans, in my opinion, are a very interesting civ. I really love the creativity and the way this is designed as well. The pasture seems like a really cool feature. Fire lances, I really like that unit. I think the Liao Dao with the bleed effect, I'm gonna call it bleed forever. That's just how it feels like to me. Also seems ridiculously strong. And then of course the cavalry healing. I think this civilization could place itself amongst the top 5 of our game. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. And thank you a lot for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.